Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about some incremental progress in the lawsuit against the government for its efforts to harvest all the names of FBI agents that may have worked on the January 6th case that I'll explain, but also just the fact of it. This is a kind of counter move and a pushback that has happened in similar form in several courts around the country. And so this one is an example. A case was filed in the District Court for DC. Remember, that's the court, as I love to emphasize, that heard all the cases against the January 6 marauders, gave them stern lectures and told them they're not patriots and they are, were dangerous insurrectionists in essence, asked Trump not to do a mass pardon. He did exactly that. So I think the credibility of the administration already comes in at a low ebb. But recall what happened here is there was an order issued from the acting attorney general of the DOJ to the acting head of the FBI. And the DOJ, it can be a delicate kind of relationship, but in theory, the DOJ is the boss of the FBI. Give us all your names of people who might have worked in any glancing way on any January 6th case. And this is the biggest operation in DOJ history and goes across the country. And anytime someone talks to a witness or participates in an arrest team, which are large teams, or there are many ways that an individual agent could have become tied up in a small way with the January 6 cases, they're supposed to hand all them over. So, on behalf of the FBI Agents Association and certain unidentified John Doe, Jane Does, a lawsuit was brought in the district court. It's already just the where we are today that the FBI is anonymously suing the administration. Things are really, quite a pretty pass. But it was a clever lawsuit to my mind because they were making objections about the saber rattling of the department to get rid of people. But that's not happened yet. There's a problem with the legal doctrine until it actually goes down. But they were smart to include a Privacy Act count saying if you reveal any of these names, including to Elon Musk or people who are outside the department, it would be dangerous for FBI agents. You actually have had some former January 6 offenders talking about, wanting to get at FBI agents. It'll be dangerous for them. And plus, it's a violation of the Privacy Act, and that entails individual penalties against people who do it knowingly in the government. Misdemeanor, but still a $5,000 penalty, say, and potentially even less than a year jail sentence. So that was a pretty forceful lawsuit. And the inroad or progress that happened was actually by negotiation. So the lawsuit is brought and they're saying, Judge, please inform the Department of Justice that they may not reveal these names to anyone. And, the risk without that of it going to Elon Musk or maybe worse, Steve Bannon and the like, or just kind of escaping out without legal order not to do it, I think was strong with the way these guys operate. So the judge, she imposed an immediate sort of administrative stay and then was going to take up the question whether to have a stay put in place until they hear the case. But the plaintiffs' lawyers, on behalf of the FBI Agents Association, and DOJ, worked out a deal and were able to go to the judge and say, DOJ agrees. They're not going to release these names. And really, when it comes up, they don't have a leg they can stand on. What's the possible justification? They maybe want to see this to figure out whom they could, whom they want to fire. That sucks and it's nasty, but there's no possible justification for releasing names. And yet that's the sort of thing that happens in loosey-goosey administrations who don't care that much about the rule of law. So they hammer out a deal where DOJ says, okay, we won't release the names. They come to the judge. We've made a deal. Judges always love that best. The parties come to them having worked it out, and but it's now been entered as an order. So if it so happens that some of these names escape notice and become public, that's going to be a violation of the judge's order, in addition to a likely violation of the Privacy Act. So nice little interim result, but just in general, private lawyers standing up for FBI agents, individual justices applying the rule of law, somewhat encouraging development that certain forces, including private folks stepping up for lawyers, are pushing back against this nasty fusillade of DOJ maneuvers. Now they're still out there, the risk of firings. Trump and the DOJ are saying, well, if they didn't act corruptly, they'll be okay. But that's crazy, right? Nobody acted corruptly by pursuing cases that were justified under the facts and law. It's an outrage even to suggest it otherwise, but it seems clear they're going to try to have a bloodletting that identifies some agents. Remember, they've already fired a huge cadre of Jack Smith's team, career professionals who worked on the cases, and as well a bunch of newly minted permanent employees in the D.C. U.S. Attorney's Office who worked on not the Trump cases, but the January 6 cases. They've are being challenged, and they're going to try to get rid of the permanent status that the Biden administration gave them in the closing week. So the war against some of these folks goes on, will go on. I think in a lot of instances, they'll do nasty things that are against the law and subject them and the taxpayers to have to pay remedies. But I don't think they care. They want to, in effect, just oust and isolate and punish certain people. And when they put them out in that way, even if they later, the agents get money for it, they're still basically, their careers there at the DOJ or FBI are ruined. And that's the case, I think, for these prosecutors. But for now, a small victory of a DOJ agreement not to publicize any of the names, and just in general, the encouraging point that the battle has been joined. Somebody is out there on the side of democracy, trying to persuade an individual district court judge to apply the law, do the right thing. And so it's not just a simple monolithic, lawnmower of just mowing down everything that had been the case for the first couple weeks while people were just getting their bearings. So in that sense, the actual events to report, nice little progress. They won't reveal them. But the overall fact of a structure in place, pushback happening, DOJ having to retreat, that's a good day. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.